FBOs, fixed-based operators, pilot's friend, are out to get us. We'll find out this episode in the hangar.
I used to be a well-respected member of the aviation community, and then I started flying a Cirrus, and that changed.
Oh, that was great until the engine quit.
And all of a sudden I see these explosions and these trees exploding.
I'm walking away a better pilot because of this discussion.
Welcome to In the Hangar. I'm Dan Millican at Off.Taking. Joining me is...
Christy Wong, at Pilot Christy.
All right, well, Christy, today we're talking fixed-based operators, and joining us is Jeff Zimmerman from Millionaire in Dallas. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, and I say Dallas, it's actually Addison.
It's at the Addison Airport. Our corporate name is Millionaire Dallas.
Okay, so we're going to get into FBOs. It's a bit of a controversial kind of space we're in here because a lot of general aviation pilots will either have a love or a hate relationship or mental image of the FBO. Let's talk about, first of all, what's your mission at Millionaire Addison?
Yeah, I mean, our mission is to make your flight work, make it work fantastically for you. Giving you the best service, getting you in, getting you out, getting you what you need when you need it, and with a smile.
Okay, so with that being your goal, I arrive in my Cessna high wing. Do we become a bit of a pain, because we're sipping 40 gallons of gas, not 400. How is the general aviation small plane, small pistons accepted in your world?
Yeah, I mean, GA is GA the way we see it. Whether you're flying a Gulfstream 5 or a Cessna 150, you're a pilot, you're a person, you're human, and you deserve the same respect, the same service, the same fun experience as the other. A lot of our G5 pilots fly Cessna 150s.
Okay.
So
I think that the perception out there is that the big FBOs don't want us little guys there because of the, like when I fly in, if it takes me an hour to get there, I'm taking on 8 gallons versus the G5 that's coming in and taking a whole dinosaur worth of fuel. So
that's great. Yeah, and I can understand that perception. I mean, I'm a pilot. I've flown for 30 years now, and I've seen that at FBOs that I've visited.
Yeah.
But that's the trick. That's the trick that we have to overcome every day and make you feel just as special as that G5.
And I wonder if part of it is because we come in with low self-esteem. I mean, I'll tell you, being a pilot only 4 years, my experience, the first time I flew into Houston Hobby, I was with an instructor, and I was flying in a rental 172, and I pull up to Millionaire there in Houston Hobby, and all the jets are lined up there, and I'm just instantly going, I'm trailer trash. I mean, I felt like that. I mean, coming in, but then they brought the red carpet over. I'm like, okay, but mentally, I'm just going low self-esteem issues. I'm thinking they just don't want me here.
well, I think too.
But they, it's just my imagination.
One of the reasons I think people believe that perception has to do with the fee structure and whatnot behind it as well. So we're just going to jump. We're going full trend, So I mean, because we pull in, like for me, for example, I mean, I remember landing at a certain airport in the Metroplex
With a certain FBO.
Right. And it wasn't Millionaire. It was actually a different one of the other FBOs on the field because there's like 3 or 4 there. And I pull in, and of course you get hit with, handling fees. I mean, they chalked my airplane, and I got slapped with like a $50 handling fee.
$50 for a Cherokee Warrior.
Yes, and then I'm like, do you not know the Long Warrior? And then
Everybody knows Long Warrior.
Right, and then and then there's like
Celebrity
a
planes
tax.
should not get
right. Yeah, I wish no, but and then there's like a tax, like a security fee, and there's just taxes, and they'll waive certain parts of it if you take on X amount of fuel. But like, I flew from Denton, I burned 3.3 gallons. You know what I mean? So It's like, I'm never going to be able to meet that fuel requirement. So before I left that day, I mean, I paid easily $65, $70 in handling fee, in
So Jeff,
fees.
what about Millionaire to Addison? If we come in with a single piston small plane and we're going to be there for a couple of hours, are we going to drop some serious cash?
Well, at our facility, it is a $50 handling fee if you don't buy fuel.
Okay.
But if you top off, quite honestly, if you take some fuel, talk to me.
So
We'll take
3.3
care of that.
gallons?
Hey, if that tops you off, that you're doing what you can
have
do.
I'm doing what I can do. Look,
Exactly.
I'm keeping the
That's all
mixture
we're
rich
looking
all the
for.
way over.
Absolutely.
She's fouling those spark plugs. just
Oh
for
my
you.
gosh. Yeah.
Well, and that's a good point. I mean, the efficiency of GA aircraft, not just jets, but even pistons, the efficiency has gotten so much better over the years. We have so many people that fly into these airports that don't need fuel. And that's how an FBO makes money. I mean,
Okay. Well, and let's talk about that for a minute because, as, the piston General Aviation pilot, you look $50, that's just insane, is our knee-jerk reaction. But let's talk about why it's not insane and what you guys are having to deal with on your side.
Sure. I mean, obviously, the closer you get to any metroplex, Dallas or Houston or what have you, the rents are high. It costs us a lot of money to operate the
just be there.
FBO at the airport. Not to mention the escalating insurance costs. That's probably the number one driver these days.
Insurance.
Insurance is huge. It's going up and up and up. It's not coming down. It's
So
more and more
when you
expensive.
say insurance and what you guys, what's your insurance covering?
Well, it's covering anything that happens on the ramp, to be honest. If we damage the aircraft, if two airplanes come together, things like that. Every time an aircraft arrives on our ramp, on an FBO's ramp, the FBO incurs some liability. Something could happen.
I hadn't thought about that side of it. And, because actually, even before I met you, I flew into Millionaire Addison.
Right.
Had my 210 Lola, was sitting there, and we landed right before a weird storm came in that flipped some archers down a couple of ramps.
Pull the tie downs out.
And it blew mine out of the chocks at Millionaire and up against the curb, fortunately, or it would have probably been flipped or something. I didn't realize that had it been damaged, that you've got insurance for that.
Well, we do. Obviously, the aircraft insurance
And
should
I have
handle it.
insurance, too.
But then there's all kinds of questions that come up. Was it chalked properly?
Right.
Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe we don't know. Things like that. There's always the finger pointing.
Right.
And-
Because the insurance companies are going to fight it.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And our insurance company's either going to fight it or say, you know what, it's minimal damage. We'll take care of it. Things
So
like
when we
that.
come into an airport that has a $50 handling fee, most likely we're looking at an airport that's inside of a metropolitan area and that it's got high rents and it's got insurance. And, if we don't do that, they're not going to survive.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The aircraft are becoming more and more efficient. They're burning less and less fuel. And so we're pumping less and less fuel.
So the reality is we need these fees if we want FBOs and the amenities and the services to continue.
Right.
I mean, I fly into airports where they had an FBO, they got closed down or whatever, and now it's starting to make sense now.
Well, and there's times that I want the amenities. There's been a time that, coming in from a long trip and I had to divert to an airport that had a really nice FBO, they actually had a pilot sleep room and I was able to go to sleep and I needed that. There's other times I just want cheap gas that doesn't have water in it. And so I'll go to somewhere that's nearby. On one of my trips I've been doing lately to a southern part of Texas, a Class C airport, just 10 miles away is a place that has $2 a gallon less on their avgas. So there have been times I've been tired, I go ahead and pay the $2 extra, or $2 a gallon more, and then there's other times I'll stop at the small airport on the way out. But the GA fuel, how are you guys making money? I can't imagine. You talk about planes are getting more efficient. How are you only making it through fuel sales?
Primarily, yes. Obviously, we talked about handling fees. There's hangar fees, there's things like that. But we don't. And every FBO is different. We don't nickel and dime. We really only have fuel, parking, hangar.
Do you have a mechanic?
We do not. There's lots of mechanics on the field
Right.
that we call, and that way the pilots have options. But no, it's a pretty standard service. Great amenities, as you know, Mercedes crew cars,
Right.
sleep room, movie room, things like
Yeah,
that.
I'm a fully rated pilot, rated up with all these ratings, and I could not figure out how to drive that car.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was like, I need a POH for this thing.
You almost do.
It's
You almost
really,
do.
really nice. They're brand new. So let's talk about amenities for a second,
Yes.
because popcorn and cookies are great, but have you ever considered tacos?
Be a great option.
Yeah, but what kind of amenities does your FBO in particular offer to pilots? So, because again, Addison has got several FBOs. Why would I choose Millionaire over some of the other options?
Well, the Millionaire at Addison was the first Millionaire. There's about 32 millionaires
really?
across the
Didn't know
country.
that. I didn't know
yes,
that.
Yes, and Addison was the very first one. Set the the name started there. The whole
So every place
It's
is
the
just Millionaire
flagship.
It's the
Dallas.
flagship, exactly, exactly. So we were the first to build this beautiful, brass and glass facility, marble floors, crew, like I said, Mercedes crew cars, pilot lounge, or well, everybody's got a pilot lounge, but they
Not everybody. You say that.
True. But the movie room, the workout room, showers, etc. So that's kind of some of the things we offer.
Wait, you have
but-
showers there
Yeah,
available
I
as well?
didn't know that.
We do.
That's, well,
Well, with your house being flooded, maybe you
I
need
know,
to-
don't think I wasn't thinking about it.
Right. But I mean, above that, it's the service too. We put a lot of money and effort into our employees. When I hire somebody, I look for somebody with a heart for service, is what I call it. You've got to want to serve others. I don't care if you're in a G5, 150, Piper,
A warrior.
a Warrior, the Long Warrior especially.
There you go.
But you've got to have a heart for service. You've got to want to deliver a wow experience, and that's what we strive for.
Yeah.
And from my own personal experience, Millionaire Addison, you're achieving that. Even though that was a hard day with my plane busting the chocks and everything else, your ground crew worked hard. They had doubled or tripled chalked it, and it still flipped the chalk. I mean, it flipped
It was an
planes.
insane storm.
It was an insane
Never
storm.
seen it like
But
it.
your crew was very attentive. The people inside were extremely helpful. It was a great experience.
Well, and the one thing I want to mention too, just like how great you guys are. So last year we did like a flying club symposium with Pat Brown, and a few of the flying clubs we got invited to fly in. We were charged no parking fees, no handling fees or anything like that.
Wow.
And I think we even got a discount on fuel. So I took my 3.3 gallons, I mean, it was seriously though, but it was great. And they didn't treat us any differently. It was still, we got G5 customer service the
Yeah.
entire time.
And is that what you're saying at Millionaire? You can expect that if you fly in with a 1963 Cessna 150 that's weather beaten, I'm going to be treated the same as a G5 coming in.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good to know, and maybe I can get my my low self-esteem issues when I'm flying that type of plane out of my system.
Free
but-
hugs for this one, I think, is what's needed.
Right.
The last question I want to talk to you, if you can, let's go out of the metropolitan areas and let's talk about municipal FBOs. And how are they making money? I guess the cities, and that's a lot more of what we're finding in GA. We're going to land at the municipal self-serve FBO. How do they make their money?
Well, for one thing, in most cases, they have 100% of the market share.
Oh, absolutely.
So
You
they-
have competition at Addison, but that's rare.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So I think that's probably the biggest issue. And secondly, I mean, look at the amenities. There's some very nice.
It's hit and miss.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. You go to Sugar Land, Texas.
Oh,
Beautiful
gosh, yeah.
facilities, obviously.
Yeah.
McKinney's doing a great job up north. Yeah, I mean, it's generally they have 100% of the market share. They have self-serve. They have full service as well.
Something,
Yeah.
Well, and
less
and
overhead.
My travels all over the country on all these cross countries. I've been finding there's a couple. There'll be some FBOs that are like really scary. The door's locked. They don't have a code to get in. Now or they didn't note them that their fuel pump's not working. That's happened to me recently.
That happened to me too.
But on the whole, the FBOs across the country have been phenomenal. What comes to mind, I've been flying to the east, to the New York area quite a bit lately, and halfway is in Kentucky. There's a small airport called Cynthiana, and there's a great dog, the cornfield all around. First time we pulled up in that airport, the operator comes out of the FBO with some fresh corn on the cob
Wow.
and hands it to the crew. The dog is incredible. I mean, just the service from these small country airports have been phenomenal, and I'm wondering, how do they keep in business? I mean, they're charging $2 less a gallon than the big metropolitan areas. how do they keep in business?
Well, I mean, again, it's the fact that they own the airport as well, or they own the land. It's
I guess they're renting hangars. They're doing that, and it's funded by the city taxes and everything else.
exactly. It's
Do they
their-
think
it's
they
their
operate
property.
at? Do they operate at losses most of the time, or?
I wouldn't think so. I couldn't tell you, but
Right.
I would expect so. I mean, it's a municipal service offered by a city.
Right. And then there are times where I even though it's cheaper gas, I really want the full serve, and you look for that, and because that's not as often. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on, talk about the FBOs and kind of pierce some myths about at least my own feelings about the low self-esteem issues of coming in with a high wing Cessna.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'd leave you with, always talk to the FBO manager. If you've got some different need, you've got a maintenance issue, you're going to come in, you're waiting for a part. I just had
I
that
need some
recently with a
oxygen
gentleman.
refilled or something.
Right, but I mean, if you're going to be here a few days, we'll work with you. We'll always work with you on the any good FBO will. It's not just us, but just talk to the FBO.
Yeah.
Let them know, and we can come to an agreement.
I found my experience when I've called ahead of time and I've talked to the FBO, I've talked to either the manager, sometimes the customer service, reps up front, they're really, really helpful, but talking to the manager gets you a long way too. If you explain what your mission is and why you're there, they'll work with you.
And they're always willing to talk to you.
Okay.
Don't feel like they're not. Don't feel like, oh, I'm just a 152. They don't want to talk to me. It's not the case.
Well, very good. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, so there you go. The veil has been pierced. FBOs at the big metropolitan areas, they want to see you, General Aviation pilots. So go visit, go talk to the managers, enjoy the amenities, and we'll see you next time in the hangar.